Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for yet another session of TLDR webinar. Today, we are going to be looking at the Infortrend DS series. We will wait another 2 or 3 minutes before we start so that a few more people can join us. I see a lot of you have already joined, but I would rather wait for 2 or 3 minutes. While we wait, let me introduce you to the speakers today. The very first speaker is my friend Fatih Yan from Infortrend Technologies itself. He is the Senior Sales Manager for Middle East, Turkey, and Africa. And he is going to be taking us through the Infortrend product line and the corporate overview of Infortrend. Second speaker will be my colleague Faisal Ahmed, who takes care of the Infortrend solutions in DataGare. And right from designing the solution till implementing, he is involved. He will be taking you through the Infortrend DS series and some of the unique selling points of DS series. I am Akash. I'll be your moderator. I work as sales director with DataCare. I will be presenting to you some storage trends and, of course, the DataCare's introduction. Uh, During the presentation, we have opened the chat as well, so you can see on the right-hand side an option where you will be able to chat with us in case you need to. And there is a question and answers area, which you will see right below the screen, where you can ask us any question during the presentation. We will try our best to answer you whether during the presentation or after the presentation, but every single question that you ask will definitely be answered. So keep those questions coming. Uh, and we start in another 2 or 3 minutes, as I said. We will wait for a few more people to join. We already have 25 people online, and thanks for joining us today. All right, we have now 30 people online, so I think we can start. So before we start the session today, I would like to ask you a very interesting question. On the screen, you can see there is a very bad footage where there is a person who might have committed a crime but is hardly recognizable. This is not uncommon to have such kind of a footage. And I want to ask you, what percentage of such footage is not presentable in the court of law for a crime? Is it 20%, 40%, 60%, or 80%? You can type your responses in the chat box and tell me what you think. How much percentage of the footage is such bad quality that the lawmakers are not able to present it in the court of law to convict somebody? Okay, Mr. Aloysius says 80%. Okay, that's a very good guess, Aloysius. Anybody else? Mr. Arun Murli says 80%. Okay. Steffi says 80%. Mr. Haitham says 80%. Hazel says 80%. I think we have a very, very knowledgeable attendees today because everybody got exactly the bullseye, and you are all absolutely right. It is indeed 80%. So the question is, if one organization has invested enough money into putting the infrastructure for CCTV and surveillance and ends up with a footage where it's hardly recognizable kind of a quality, then what's the point? And what keeps the system integrator or the provider from upgrading the infrastructure? The answer lies partly it's because the technology is when you buy a system, when you install a system at that time. Okay, I'm sorry. I think there is some echo in this, so I will just try to reduce that. Give me a second. Okay, so the question is, why is it that people are not able to, your service provider is not able to update it? Upgradation typically of the cameras is very easy, but it's the upgradation of the storage system that that keeps them from upgrading it. Today, whatever you might have, whatever you might think that today is enough for you will not be enough for you tomorrow. That's a common trend in storage, and that's what we have realized. You need a storage provider who gives you a scalable storage that can tomorrow be upgraded. Let me further my point by showing you one more slide. This slide shows you the growth trend on the storage for surveillance. Now, I don't want to bore you with numbers on the percentage wise and year and year and on year growth, etc. But the general trend is that the storage as general is on a growth path. Okay, Mr. Haitham says sound is not clear. Okay, let me try to move a bit uh, closer to the mic. Mr. Haitham, is it clear now, sir? You can type in the chat box in case the sound is not clear. I'm sorry for this. It might be the internet. This is one of the pleasures of webinars that we learn to live with. Yeah, speaker is switched off already, Mr. Aloysius, but I will again try that. Thank you for the tip. Okay, so all right. I have switched off the speaker as well. I hope this will be clear now. So on the storage for surveillance trend, the general trend. Oh, thank you, Aloysius. Okay, so the general trend for the storage is that it's only going to increase. The yellow bar that you see here is what we should be concerned with. That's the Middle East and Africa region. And you can see that the storage is going to definitely grow. What's fueling this is not only the number of cameras. Of course, everybody knows that there are going to be more and more number of cameras, more and more dishes are going to come under surveillance. But another trend is that people now want the access to high definition video footage so that they can run analytics on that, they can do artificial intelligence on that. And of course, artificial intelligence also needs you to have multiple streams. All these things taken together are going to push the need for storage even further higher up. What you need to such an industry is you need a partner who understands this. If you're in the storage industry, by the way, you are definitely in the right industry. Uh, Let me tell you why DataGare. Uh, right from the inception in 2003, we have had a very clear philosophy that we want to focus on the renewable storage. And in the last 17 years, our expertise have grown from tapes where we started onto disk and to flash as well. So the storage, as we often say, is it's in our DNA. Uh, if you partner with us for surveillance, I could tell you a few things specific to surveillance. Of course, we are not only a surveillance service provider, we cater to all the needs of storage, and it be for virtualization, for surveillance, for artificial intelligence, or for anything else, for backup and restore, for example. But for surveillance, there's some unique things that make us stand apart. The very first one is that we have a complete product portfolio. We are, of course, an Infortrend distribution partner, but we are also a T1 partner with the hardware manufacturers like WD, Seagate, and Toshiba, and we are T1 partner with DigiFort also. So we will give you the compute, store, and VMS under one roof. On top of that, we have the value-added services right from designing a solution till commissioning and maintaining with full SLAs, etc. So we are the only service provider that you would need if you're working on a project. Whatever is your requirement, just let us know, and we will design a solution. So this concludes my part. With this, I would like to ask my friend Fateh to come and present his part on introducing the Infortrend, the corporate profile. Fateh, all yours.
Thank you, Akash. And I thank everyone attending today's webinar together with DataCare on Infotrend products and solutions. Thank all for your time and attendance. So I would like to provide you information on the background, also some figures and facts about Infotrend's company profile, and will introduce you our product line and solutions together with Mr. Faisal from DataCare. Infotrend is established in 1993, and our company is public listed since the year 2002 in Taiwan Stock Exchange. Our headquarters are located in Taipei, Taiwan. This is where I am joining you right now. And our manufacturing base is also in Taiwan. So all our products are made in Taiwan with high reliability and quality. Globally, we do employ more than 600 employees, and more than half of these are R&D and engineering force. Our capital and annual revenue is around $100 million. We do have branch offices located in Taiwan, Also, our own manufacturing facility, the means of production in Taiwan. We have branch office in Japan, also in China, in UK, in Europe, as well as in North America, USA. So if you ask me why Infortrend, what is the main differentiator between other storage players? I can straightforwardly tell you that it is almost 3 decades concentration and focus, dedication in the storage industry, and focus on high performance RAID storage network enterprise products. We have more than 1 million deployments within these 3 decades for rack mounted enterprise storage systems globally. So we have a very dedicated focus with own R&D, own design teams, and own manufacturing facility. This brings us a lot of advantages, like we have the full control of the product's functionality as well as the quality and reliability, and we do have very fast time to market for developing new products. Meantime, we also have the very good price and performance when compared to competitors. We will explain this later. And finally, and most importantly, as I said earlier, many of our competitors, they are branding companies. They have a good brand and they might have the software R&D, but their products are manufactured as OEM. I think this is one of the striking difference between Infortrend, between other Taiwanese vendors or even the global brands. Let's move to the next stage. So for worldwide achievements and recognitions, we have multiple awards from storage industry authorities, from vertical market related events and organizers like NAB Show for M&E and for CIO Storage magazine for enterprise. But most important one is since the year 2010 until today, we are listed in the Gartner Magic Quadrant. This is a very prestigious and proven record of not only the quality, but also the focus and capability of Infortrend brand. So if you would like to ask, where are we positioning ourselves? Where are we focusing? Infortrend is totally focusing on the enterprise segment that is comparable to Dell EMC, NetApp, or HPE's SMB or enterprise market focus products. We do not focus on the consumer segment, and we have limited focus on the SOHO. But for those segments, you can find solutions from DataGare for other brands. So for business policy, one of our biggest advantages are fair business policy. We do directly deal with the drive manufacturers, with Seagate, WD, HGST, Toshiba, and we have open drive policy. We validate and use enterprise-grade hard drives. And we do have a policy so-called as the open drive policy. The drives we validated are available in a QVL, qualified vendor list, in our website. And it is released openly to public, which means that we do not change the microcode, lock the drives, unlike those US brands are doing. But we allow our customer also to check the validation, the compatibility online, and if they wish, they can also procure the compatible validated hard drives locally. This means that we apply fair pricing policy and we are following the market trend, the regular prices, or even much competitor prices thanks to our global quantity. So the other advantage we provide in our business model is the units comes with their embedded OS and proprietary software. If additional license is required like, for example, SSD cache, SSD tiering, or some cloud gateway application. These licenses are perpetual. We don't have complicated or tricky licensing models based on capacity or based on the time, but licensing is perpetual. So we don't do contractual lockdown to our customers. For the applications, for the vertical markets we serve, is covering mostly the media and entertainment or broadcast industry. From this side, we do have validations with Adobe Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve, or Apple's Final Cut Pro. We do have tests, benchmarks, and validations for these popular software. For the HPC and data center high performance computing, we collaborate with Veeam or other renowned vendors like Mellanox or Atto, do validations and announce the validations on our QVL, qualified vendor list announcements. Today's focus with DataCare together and you will be the surveillance industry. For the surveillance industry, as you might know from the past, we have hundreds of successful installations in UAE and Qatar, also in my country, my own country, Turkey. And to achieve that, we do have hands-to-hand collaboration with major VMS vendors like Digifort, Genetec, or Milestone. We do the validations. We also do benchmarks and put these test reports on our website for our customer to avoid loss of efforts for validation or doing POC. So for today's coverage for the security and surveillance industry, we do have two different solutions. On the right hand side, it is EonServe. EonServe is using storage and compute unified in a single unit. On EonServe products, we can have factory pre-installed versions of Windows 10 IoT Enterprise or Windows Server 2012, 2016, or 2019, coupled with client-side installed validated VMS like Milestone, Genetec, or Digifort. And for the bigger scale projects, we do have EonStor DS, which means the pure SAN products, or EonStor GS derivatives, which are unified storage capable of supporting SAN and NAS in the same device. So when we look into the storage architecture in traditional storage, there are mainly three different types of storage definition. The first one, so-called as DAS or direct attached storage. Among our product portfolio, EonServe is a good example. You can install Windows OS on EonServe and install VMS on it. And it has a virtual machine manager which enables hardware RAID device integrated into the unit. The other kind of application of DAS, direct attached storage, could be achieved by EonStor DS and the SAS host board using SAS interface directly attaching the storage to servers through the SAS HBAs. So this kind of definition is the application software, file system, and storage are unified. Then they are directly connected. The second type of storage architecture is so-called the SAN, storage area networks. So for the storage area networks, the storage itself does not own any file system. The file system is on the application side, the servers, and storage and servers talk to each other using fiber channel or iSCSI connection and protocols. The product line from Infortrend to support SAN is EonStor DS, today's coverage, and also the unified storage products like EonStor GS and its derivatives. Finally, for the NAS, the storage unit itself has the file system, and clients or servers communicate with the units through network, usually through Ethernet networks. So EonStor DS and are newly developing challenging product. The scale-up NAS series EonStor CS are good examples of NAS products. So as mentioned earlier, thanks to Infortrend's focus on dedication on storage for the past almost 3 decades, we do have a complete full product line of enterprise storage. So we have NAS, we also have NAS products supporting AI, we have hybrid cloud appliance, we have all fresh arrays, but our hot selling products are scale out NAS, unified storage, and today's coverage, the pure SAN EonStor DS series. So I thank you, all of you, and wish you may go to Infortrend website for further information and check our site map. You will find a lot of online information available for this topic. So the next should be our partner, DataGare's FAE engineer, Mr. Faisal, to explain to you about Infotrend's success stories, also the DS product line introduction in UAE.
Thank you, Fatih. Thank you. That was a wonderful presentation. The Gartner award definitely is a very, very prestigious award, and it's great. Now, before I give it to Faisal to explain about DS series, I see a lot of Indians in the attendees. So I would like to ask a fun question. In India, everybody watches cricket. I have not met a single Indian who does not watch cricket. So I would like to ask you tonight, what's your prediction? Whom do you think is going to win? Is it going to be KKR or is it going to be Rajasthan Royals? Whom are you betting against? Please. Okay, so RRR. All right. Please type. Those who don't watch cricket can do it just for fun. So just to see which logo you want. In case you don't watch cricket, you can be pitching for the logo. Which logo do you think is better? Let's type it in the chat and let me know what you think. Whom do you think is going to win? Aloysius says RRR. Okay. Anybody else is going to bet? Okay. RR. Okay. KKR. All right. Okay. Hitendra says KKR. Mr. Raiz is KKR. Mr. Hazil is KKR. Mr. Badella is RR. Mr. Junaid is KKR. Mr. Sridhar says Rajasthan Royals. All right. Stacy says RRR. I know Stacy, you don't watch it definitely, but thanks for putting it in anyway. RRR. Okay. So you like that logo. Okay. So this looks 50-50. So okay. So we can't draw any conclusion. I would have loved to do a poll and probably do a prediction saying that okay, since everybody thinks it's RRR, it's going to be RRR, but it's difficult. Okay, Mr. Haitham, RR. All right, sir. Thank you. This was fun. So let me give it to Faisal now, who will take you through the DS series and will show you some of the unique models of DS series, including the high availability, etc. All yours, Faisal.
Thank you, Mr. Akash, and thank you, Fateh, for a wonderful presentation. Hi, guys. Good afternoon. Welcome and thanks for joining this webinar. This is Faisal Ahmed from DataGare LLC. I will just take you through EonStor DS family. EonStor DS at a glance. EonStor DS storage is a cost-effective enterprise SAN storage where it is a versatile series which that can be used in various environments where you need high bandwidth performance like video editing, broadcasting, and medical imaging, where you need high IOPS like virtualization, VDI, and in OLTP platforms, and also in the surveillance industry, EonStar DS is a star because of its price value. So I'll move to the next page. EonStar DS product question. let us go through the product portion of DS series, where DS series is classified into 4 segments. That is EON's DS 1000, 2000, 3000, and 4000, where these segments are classified based on IOPS and read and write speed. So the IOPS varies from 120K to 750K, whereas the read and write speed varies from 5.5 to 11 gigabyte per second. So in the next slide, in this slide, you can see the detailed specification of EonStor DS storage portfolio, where we won't go through each and every specs in this page. So, but you have the information in Infortrend website, which you can go through this at your own convenience at time. So we can move on to the next page. So in this page, let us take you through the hardware architecture of EonStar DS series. DS, this on the slide, you can see this is a typical hardware architecture of EonStar DS storage, where the design is impressive, superior, and the design is cableless, fanless, and it is a modular design where the field replacement units which are hot swappable and redundant components. So we will move to the next slide, where you can see the rear view of a typical DS series. In this series, in this image, you can see the redundant controller modules and redundant power supplies, which is uh, in the DS series, and also you can see the SAS expansion ports, which is used to scale the storage capacity by using the J ports. And regarding the I/O host board options and onboard ports, we can move on to the next slide. Here you can see where Infortrend has a wide range of rich I/O host board options available in DS series, where for fiber channel connectivity, we have 16 and 32 gigabyte per second ports, and for GBE I2C ports, we have 1, 10, 25, and 40 gigabyte per second ports. So you can see how the host boards comes and how it can be mounted on the controller module in this slide. So we can move on to the next slide. Here in this slide, you can see the various expansion enclosures available for DS series storage, where it comes with multiple form factors, and the available options are 2U12 bay, 3U 16 bay, 2U 24 bay, and some of the high density J boards available are 4U 60 bay. So and also this expansion enclosures support both 2.5-inch SFF drives and also 3.5-inch LFF drives. So in this next page, we have some of high availability solutions available in Infortrend DS series, which comes with redundant components, that is dual controller modules, power supplies, and cooling fans for redundant architecture, and it has a cableless modular design, which is where you can hot swap the units without even shutting down the system during the running time. And another high availability option solutions are mirrored write back cache, where the cache between the two controllers is always synchronized. So it is like a copy of one another. And cache protection technology, which is being supported by a supercapacitor and a flash module, which always ensures your data, and it is for lifetime. There is no need for any replacement like the previous units like BBU components like that. So the next page, another important feature Infortrend DS series have is intelligent drive recovery. This feature has a smart data recovery mechanism which helps to detect and repair the damaged disk blocks in the drives, and also it is used to prevent the RAID rebuilding process during the errors in the drives, which is a good feature for in the DS series. So we will move on to the next slide, where this in this page we will take you through the SANWatch management software, which is application which is used to configure your DS series, which is a web-based application. Web-based application. It is also used for centralized management of multiple system of DS series storage, and also it is used to monitor the capacity and performance of the DS series storage. So we will move on to the next slide, where we will take you through the surveillance solution with DS series. In this slide, you can see the typical architecture of a CCTV system, where how the cameras being mapped, and recording servers, and EonStor DS storage, where EonStor DS storage is available in multiple form factors, where the high density form factor goes up to 4U60 bay, and it is optimum cost for best performance and capacity, where you can scale up to 4 petabyte capacity. This is a standard high capacity storage that we have deployed in many of our clients, and we have brought a great deal of success. So thus I believe you have got some ideas about DS series storage, and I conclude my presentation. And thanks for everything and your patience. I will give to Mr. Akash, and he will continue the presentation.
Thank you, Faisal. That was wonderful. No wonder DS series is a star in surveillance with all these features, especially the IDR. One of the biggest pain points in raids are in case the raid fails and then it starts to rebuild. There is always not only a performance delay, but also there is a sort of anxiety. So that's a great feature. Let me look at some of the questions. Do you ship to Qatar also? Sonic has asked. Yes, so we don't ship to Qatar directly, but we have established a channel there, a very great channel. So get in touch with us, and we'll put you in touch with the channel that we have in Qatar. And we are capable of doing the complete consultancy till the time of installation. Our partner there is called DLI, and we'll put you to them. Okay, Mr. Mustafa Hussain asks, what about warranty, and how can ensure SI uses enterprise SDD when we sell to end users? Okay, Mr. Mustafa, Infortrend only gives you the controllers and keyboards. Infortrend doesn't give the hard drives, but they have a fair hard drive policy, as earlier Fat mentioned. By fair hard drive policy, what they mean is that their units are compatible with all the hard drives which are SaaS hard drives, and they keep on testing new kinds of hard drives. So they don't tie you up with them. For example, if you go to Dell or HP, they change the microcontroller ports of the hard drives, and then you're stuck with them. But with Infortrend, you just have to go to the website, see what drives have already been validated, and you can use those drives. They only recommend you use enterprise drives and those which are SATA. So the question about warranty, you have got 3 years standard warranty, which can be extendable to 5 years, and you are under no obligation to buy the extended warranty immediately. You can buy the warranty anytime within the 3 years. As long as the warranty has not expired, you can always buy the warranty. All right. Infortrend has office or branch in UAE and how to handle RMA. Mr. Mustafa, they don't have a branch in UAE, but being the distributor, we are solely responsible for RMA. In case there is a problem, we have a very clear SLA, which is service agreement. According to that, we are able to process the RMA very fast and are able to give you the replacement as well as per the service agreement. And they are, in case you want the next business replacement, we can arrange that. But all that is mentioned in the SLA, of course. How many JBoards can be connected to one controller? Okay, now this is a tricky question because how many can be connected is a question of can be connected, and the other question is how many should be connected. Now, how many can be connected? 443 is the upper number of the drive that can be connected to a single controller, but you really don't want to do that because you will the performance comes down, right? Infortrend has given you the option of being able to connect up to 443 drives, but we typically use about 120 drives in an installation and never exceed that for the performance regions. We can send you more information about this later on after the presentation because uh, we can't elaborate too much. Okay, so let me take you to the next slide after that. Thanks to Infortrend, we have a huge clientele today in UAE, which we have been able to provide the solutions for with Infortrend. Some of the large groups are landmark groups, ADNOC in Abu Dhabi, Sharjah International Airport, and you can see a lot others on the screen. I would also like to share with you a small success story that we had in UAE with ADNOC. ADNOC had a very seemingly simple requirement, and what I mean when I say seemingly simple requirement, they sound simple, but they turn out to be very difficult to be fulfilled. They had 1,200 CCTV cameras, and they wanted 24/7 non-stop operations. And the challenge they had what they had limited rack space. They of course wanted 24/7. They also didn't want too complex system. They wanted it to run 24/7. They wanted the ability to be able to hot swap the units whenever they're if and when something goes wrong. The solution came in form of a DS1016 controller from Infortrend, along with the 4U high density JBots, where we were able to give them the highest density solution. Redundant controllers, high availability components, and everything else made it extremely resilient, and we were able to give them a very high uptime. So with this, we are pretty much done, and I would like to take all the question and answer sessions now. Some of the questions have been asked earlier, which I already answered. What file system do you use for your scale-out NAS? Okay, I would like to ask Mr. Fati to look at the question and answers and see if he would like to answer some of the questions. Mr. Fati, we have a question. What file system do we use for the scale-out NAS? Okay, Mr. Mustafa, this question, which file system do we use? We'll get back to you, but of course, this is going to be either one of the ButterFS or the ZFS or the ext4, of course. I mean, those are the standards, but we'll get back to you in the email. If anybody has any other question, please feel free to ask us. Okay, we have one more question. Do we have an NVR server storage? Yes, we have actually. When you say server plus storage, server is the part which is responsible for computing, right? We have EonServe, and with EonServe, you are able to deploy your virtual machines on the server itself and a few Docker containers. Also. Let's say you have a Linux application, then you can do it with Docker, which will be extremely lightweight. Or if you have a Windows virtual machine, then you can always do it with a virtual machine, same chassis. You will have the server plus storage. And Fatih did cover that in his presentation. Initially, when he showed you the slide, he showed you two series. One is called EonStor, one is called EonServe. So EonServe is the one which has got the server plus storage. Do we have any more questions? I mean, we really finished pretty early. It's only been 40 minutes, so I will keep it open for another maybe 5 minutes. If anybody has any questions or comments, and don't worry if you don't. You can always write to us on sales@datacaredubai.com, the email that is on the screen, and we promise we'll get back. Yeah, if you have any technical questions also you can ask. I mean, does AI storage come with built-in analytics? Again, we will have to. Oh, Mr. Fatih has replied to this. APIs run on Docker. Okay. XFS. Okay. All right. So Mr. Fatih has been answering on the comments. Mr. Fatih, you can unmute yourself as well and probably answer any question if you want to. We'll keep it open for another 5 minutes. So everybody who hasn't had a chance to ask a question can ask the question again.
Akash, thank you very much. You have replied very well for most of the questions. And may there be any other questions? I suggest our valuable attendees should send an email to Mr. Faisal, the pre-sales FA of DataCare, and our pre-sales team will follow up for your further questions.
Thanks at all. Thanks a lot everybody for joining us, and please write to us in case you have any more questions. Thank you and take care. Thank you, Fatih. Thank you, Faisal.
Thank everyone. Thank you so much.